Okay, this is a follow-up video to one that I made around a year ago. So that video was looking at how I'd used the Duke Nukem level editor a long time ago, 98, so I'd have been around 16 at the time, and I'd tried to mock up the original Quake level, and at the end of that video I said that I'd go back and do some others, so I thought I might as well get round to it. I haven't made a video for quite a while, probably after Replay I think was the last one, so I thought I'd go back and do something different. So I've got the folder, and most of these came off the floppy disk, so I don't think I've got all the revisions, but I should have the latest one. So the one I'll start with is one that I called Alien 08, and this is kind of revision 8, and it was created the 24th of May 1998. So I'll put it on easy. So this level really came out, well, kind of came into my head after seeing a single screenshot for what was to become Alien vs Predator on the PC, and there was just one section of corridor, and I thought I really liked that, and it was kind of looking up like that, and I just ended up trying to mop that up and then built a level around it. It's a little bit dark, so I'll just make this colour correction. There we go. Make it a little bit brighter so it should show up better in the video. So I've set the computer here to run at 50 Hz rather than 60, so it should get rid of that horrible ghosting that was in the previous one. So really this level is kind of like a complex. So there's two that I'll show in this video. I'll kind of do two at a time. But I like the idea of having rooms above rooms. So this top bit here was kind of like a moon base, and it's kind of flooded and damaged and whatnot. So you've got like a control room, and you've got a vent. So with this one you can't get into it, but this one you can, because that's out of order. So if we go up here, we're now on the floor above it. So the build engine lets you do really weird things to kind of let you trick room above room. So this is kind of like an entertainment area. So we've got the loos, and what this is showing here is kind of like the bridge that we've just been over, although that's kind of wrong because it should be lower than that, but you kind of get the idea that it's kind of pretending to be like properly 3D with kind of rooms above rooms and that kind of thing. So this was kind of like a pleasure complex, kind of like a shopping mall. You can see there's a glitch because what I've done here is do room above a room, so you've got that kind of gap down there. Try again, and you've got a room there. So there's two ways you can do it. You can have a room over the other one, or a corridor, as long as you don't see both at the same time, and that's what they did on Blood to get that effect at the beginning. But if you can see it, or the renderer is trying to render it, it goes weird. So this is a source port of Duke Nukem 3D, and it's still got that same bug, which is kind of interesting to see. So this was meant to be like a burger joint. As I say, I never really finished any of these. It was more just playing around with the engine. So this was an arcade, kind of very 90s. So I mean, all the textures here were off the Atomic Edition, so none of these are customized. So it was just playing around with what we had. So these are kind of holograms and things that all come from the Atomic Edition. So I'll go down to the bottom part of the level. So the name for this really comes from Alien, as in the films. So the idea is this is meant to be a base and it's abandoned and something's been dug up, which is kind of like an alien ship. So I'll go down here. I mean, all these kind of transparent textures just killed my DOS machine at that point, but on this it's not so bad. Okay, go down the lift. Yeah, the lifts aren't really real. They're kind of like, they warp you between sectors, and that's how Duke Nukem did it. So you've got to get your distances right. So under here is under there. So that's where we were at the beginning. I mean, you can drop down. I tried to mess around with the underwater bit, so you've got gravity, on that. So with that, I'm just pressing right. You kind of got a gravity section, which is one of the quirks that you can kind of abuse with the engine. So this is a flooded section, and there's some kind of military base, and they've found something. But what is it? So go through the metal detector, which doesn't work because I've got a pistol, and they've got specimens. Let's shoot them. I don't think I put any weapons in this level, so I'm going to have to try and take all these down. Ah, here we go, got another pistol. I'll leave that. That looks like a facehugger. Yeah, I really like the build engine. You could do a load of things like coloured lighting that you couldn't really do with the Duke Nukem, Doom engine rather. Id Soft. Yeah, so this is kind of like a suspicious area, which might be an exit later on. So we go down. This is meant to be like a drilling section. So that, yeah, I'll go back. So the idea is this is kind of like a hard hat area, and it's an excavation, and they've found something that looks a little bit like the alien ship. So we're kind of in this section here. She's going to go around, which is meant to be the space jockey. So that was just a couple of sprites that was meant to be the jockey. It doesn't really look like it, but you kind of get the idea. So let's drop down the hole. Yeah, I put some health down there, and all the enemies are spawning. So all the facehuggers, so I need to get out of here pretty quick. So there are two exits. One is this bit that takes you further into the ship. So down here. And again, I didn't even put... I put the ammo down, but I didn't put a gun down. Which is pretty stupid. But all these enemies, I think, were from the stock version of Duke Nukem 3D. I don't think these were from the Atomic Edition. Again, transparent textures that just killed the DOS machine. Let's take these out. Oh, shit. I'll just kick you from around this. No! Arse. That was fine, but I haven't got any more ammo. Ooh. Back off. Arse. Press open to restart level. Okay, I'll not go that way this time. Jump down. Right. Yeah, so that section under there didn't really go anywhere. The idea was that it was meant to be like a boss or some kind of big enemy. Yeah, I think it was because I hadn't really... I won't say play tested, but I hadn't really created the enemies and the kind of the route through the level at that point. It was more just a case of chucking some enemies in and see what happens. So the other doorway is here, and there are two exits. So one is going in here, Doom Space Marine. Yeah, so that's where we came out before. So that was kind of meant to be the exit from the level, and that was the other part. So transporter, and this takes you here. So that's destructible. So that wall you couldn't get through from the start of the level, and this takes you. Yeah. So we're back at the start. Okay, after a short edit, this is a map called Crash 6 from the 2nd of August 1998. And again, this was another alien-themed level, so I've kind of grouped these two together. And you've got some kind of transporter that you come in on. And here you've got... Oh. an access card that you can use straight away. So this base, I think this was the last bit I made on the level, so I didn't really complete that bit. But that's kind of meant to be the end. So close that. So the idea is you start the level and you're on a base which is meant to be like Aliens. So the one thing that always bugged me from the Alien games is that there was always a lot more detail in the film, in the corridors, than there was in games at that point. And the weird thing is, if you look at a game like Aliens Colonial Marines now, there's more detail in the game than there is in the film. But that's just technology for you. So this bit here is collapsed and it'll come into play shortly. So, some suspicious corridor over there. Or rather, kind of air duct. So again, kind of a moon base thing, which is kind of not right. As you'll see later on, that really should be red. And we've got some kind of structure here that may or may not be a lift. So let's go this way, and this takes you to the other side of that, and yeah. I can't remember what that thing on the right was there. It looks like an observation window. I think it probably is. I haven't loaded this map up yet. It's been a long time, 1998, so kind of 16 years since I built these. So it's nice just to kind of get lost in them again. So this is going down to the next level. Can you... Oh yeah, you can get in there. Where does that go? I don't know. It goes somewhere. I know where that goes. I'll come back to it. Because that is the next part of the level. So we're back on the second sub-corridor. So back to more rooms, so they would have been populated eventually. This is a really long corridor, and this goes back to that lift, which takes you to the bottom of the level. And yeah, okay, so that would have been a one-way mirror. Yeah, I don't know why I've put that giant thing there. No idea. Yeah. Default texture, so that was just a bit of either forgotten to texture, or that was a reminder to build something there. Can't remember which. So we'll go back up that way that I've just been. So back along this long corridor, and up through there, through the vent. So this bit here is back on that first corridor, so that's the bit that you can see. So it was meant to be a hint that it's not obvious that you've got to go through that fan. So this was a ladder. I didn't really like the way the ladders worked, so the way you can do it is to make it a water section, so you might be able to hear kind of water noises. So that's that kind of collapsed bit. So this will take us to the bottom of the level. Grab a swig of coffee. That is quite a long way down. Maybe I should have speeded that up. Okay, so this is meant to be the kind of the maintenance corridor. This should have been a lot darker. It was really meant to be a little bit like the original Alien in some cases. Kind of the design of some of these rooms was meant to be like the original Alien, but I'm not sure if that really worked. Why did I put arcade there? Maybe it was something that was shipping, I don't know. And this should be the bottom of that area. Yeah, so you've got the lift there. Yeah, so all this is dropping. And this was kind of the last part of the level that I was kind of working on before I did that top bit. So here you've got... Yeah, you can't really see it from there. So this was kind of my attempt at building an outdoor area. So this the level's called Crash, so the idea is something's crashed and it's been found. Kind of like the other level, it's just not directly under the level, it's meant to be somewhere a bit hostile, so maybe this was some kind of meteorite, and that sky's really weird. Can you see it? Kind of warping. Don't know why that's happening. But it was meant to be like a meteorite, and it's cracked open the planet. So I don't really want to be touching any of this. So this was playing around with different kind of sectors, so you've got rock that bobs up and down. And oh no, that was it. I think. How did I survive that? I'm not sure. Right, so I think I'll leave it there. So that's 2 levels. I've got some notes here. I think I've got another 2 that were, I don't want to say completed. None of them were completed, but there was more effort that had gone into these 4 levels. So there was the Quake one, and then these 2 and another 2, which are not based on Alien, which is kind of different. I noticed on the previous video there was a comment by Retroball, so hopefully after nearly a year you'll get a kind of a response to your question on kind of building levels and things. So thanks for watching.